Hello, welcome to All or Nothing TV. I'm Andy Brassell. Now, looking back at the Champions League games this week, it's been a great week for French clubs. All three of them winning their games. Only the fourth time in history that this has happened that three French teams have won on the same Champions League match day. The first time back in 2000 when Lyon, Paris Saint-Germain and Monaco did it. The same teams did it 4 years later. It was done last year, and I think that's the most significant thing, that not only it's been done 2 years in a row, but it's the same three teams, Lyon, Bordeaux and Marseille, that have managed to defeat, I think, which really shows that French clubs are growing within the Champions League, and who knows, maybe it could even be a new era for French teams in Europe. Of course, Marseille are recovering from 2 defeats to winning Zurich, who were Milan's conquerors on the last match day. But I want to look really closely at Lyon and Bordeaux, who are my 2 favourites for the French title, and I think France's 2 best chances of certainly going on for the last 16. They look well set for that, but maybe even further. Who knows? There's a lot of talent in both sides. I think it's significant, not because they both just won, but because they beat real giants of the European game. Liverpool in the case of Lyon, and Bayern Munich in the case of Bordeaux. I think Lyon, we've already seen them get to 3 quarter-finals this decade before, but not quite managed to go on to that next level. Well, they've invested heavily this summer, and I think this is part of it. Of course, both Lyon and Marseille have invested heavily, but Lyon have bought really well. The players they've bought are not just players with good pedigree in the Champions League, but players who are real leaders, and I think Lisandro Lopez is one of those, and possibly the most important one. It's not just that he scores goals in the Champions League, but even when he's slightly unfit and below his best, like he was against Liverpool, he's a real leader of the team. He's someone who battles and fights for every ball, harasses defenders, and exudes a certain sort of confidence, a real team leader. And I think that's the real difference between Lyon this season and last season, that they've got real guts in the side. They never would have come back from that half-time deficit at Anfield last year, but in the end a fully deserved win for them, I felt. I really want to focus on Bordeaux as well, because I think we're talking about the same teams all winning on the same match night for 2 years in a row, and Bordeaux show the value of Champions League experience, and I think it shows what a terrific coach Laurent Blanc is, that he can take the lessons of what's happened before and use them positively so his team can move forward. I think really they set the tone in their first game of the group away to Juventus. They went a goal down, but they stayed the course physically and mentally. It was a real physical battle out there in Turin, and they have the players like Alou Diarra, like Fernando, the Brazilian, and like Marouane Chamakh, who can really keep their end up in that sort of situation. But they've really learned from last year. They showed they could play well in patches. We know they've got fine players, the likes of Yoann Gourcuff, and they played really well in their home game against Roma last year, but they had a few bad breaks and showed a little bit of inexperience in losing that game eventually, and in losing the return in Rome as well. Now this year it doesn't look like that they would do the same thing, like going to Chelsea, showing a few little positive things, in the end falling to bits and losing 4-0. That's been a criticism of French teams in the past, but Bordeaux look tougher now. When they went a goal down in Turin against Juventus, they came back. When it took them a while to break the deadlock against Maccabi Haifa last month at the Chaban Del Mar, their home stadium, that they kept at it and stuck at it until they scored their late goal. And in this game against Bayern, they had to stand up physically, and they went a goal down to a rather unfortunate own goal from Mikel Siani, the excellent centre-back, but they came back into the game. And it's really interesting to see how they're going to do in the next round, as looks likely. They'll get there. They could even seal it with a win in Munich if you're being ambitious in the next match day. The mix of brawn and talent they have, it'll be interesting to see how far they can get. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the week's games in the Champions League, and particularly the performances of the French teams. You can keep up with me on this site here, www.allornothingtv.net. You can feed back. I'm on Twitter, twitter.com/Andy Brassell. I hope you enjoy all the games at the weekend, and I'll see you again soon.